Water hazard once again going to be the map, but it looks like the Praetorians have changed up their builds just a little bit. They say, you know what, the Riders, they want to be aggressive. Okay, we can deal with that. First up, the Praetorians are bringing along the Panda Express, a Pyramidion being piloted by Lazy Pandas. Gat Carronade forward. This is something that they're a little more used to with a Banshee and Flare on the port side. This is the Gat Caro that they have worked on and perfected for months. They're also bringing the RAS Mars, once again making an appearance. Galleon being piloted by Jub Jub. Port side, Hades, Lumberjack, Flak, with double Hellhound on the starboard side. Flare on the back.
And on the blue team, the Catskyders, we have the Battering Ram, a heavy Carronade Goldfish with left side light Carronade, right side Banshee, piloted by Finks. Their ally is the Sky Slicer, piloted by Komoba. It is a Hades Artemis Pyramidion with the left side Artemis and Flare Gun. So no build change from the blue team.
Yeah, the Riders, they're quite happy, but the Praetorians, they recognize, you know what, we can't bring that Mobula again. The Galleon is so good at punishing bad aggression or a mistimed engagement. You notice that sometimes the Riders poke out. It looks like they're sort of sizing their enemies up, but I think what they realize is like they start to go in, they recognize, hey, wait a minute, we didn't get the engagement we want. You know, there's something that went wrong. We'll back up again. But the Galleon can punish that so hard. And the Mars is already in position. Look at that. It has a sweet view of the entire map from this position.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's very important with Galleon piloting. You want to be staying close to the height ceiling. You want that height advantage, because Lumberjack and the Hades both shoot down pretty well, as does the Heavy Flak. And it makes it more difficult for the enemy ships to return that Artemis fire, which is one of the big weaknesses of the Galleon, is having those guns disabled. So you definitely want the height advantage. Although Panda Express
coming in hard. Gap is already going down. It is a Carronade. It's not Gap Mortar. But they're closing distance. Carronade, were they able to take out the front guns? They weren't quite. But the engines of the Sky Slicer are burning out. They cannot keep kerosining back, and the Panda Express is in a great position right now. Carronade targeting not only the balloon, but the front guns and the armor drops. They need to turn their Banshee into Arc, but it looks like they just want to keep the Sky Slicer locked down. They can't do that, though, because the Battering Ram is coming in from behind. Banshee going to go out, lighting fires on the guns of the Panda Express. And it looks like they're able to drop the Gatling gun on the front as well.
Yeah, the Sky Slicer, one of the distinctions you see with what tools the pilots bring. The Sky Slicer's pilot actually bringing Moonshine, while the Panda Express bringing Kerosene. So this light Carronade Gatling build that the Panda Express runs relies heavily on ramming to actually get the kill on the target ship. But since the Sky Slicer actually brought a more powerful thrusting tool, the Panda Express was not able to catch up. So they weren't able to get any sort of kill.
I'll show you my thrusting tool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
The Panda Express now, the Hades and the Artemis coming in on the Panda Express. They're taking a bit of damage. Their balloon is down. The Mars has not been able to contribute a significant amount of damage to this fight. They're just it's just too far away. They're not landing consistent Lumberjack shots.
Armor drops. Armor's back up. They're camping it so hard, but it's not gonna help. Panda Express goes down, and the Mars it's too far away to actually provide any real covering fire.
Yeah, just too many of those Lumberjack and Hades shots going wide. Also, a lot of that fight took place both behind clouds and behind this sort of back and forth behind this pillar, making it very difficult for them to put out consistent fire. And I guess, I wonder if the Catskyders, it looks like they are going to pursue the Mars. They're probably not going to be able to get in range before the Panda Express respawns. So the Panda Express choosing well, I guess they are on, well, what side of the map are they on?
They're way north. Panda Express is really far away, and the Battering Ram has managed to close distance underneath the Mars. Jaws style. It's rising up. It's going to be going for those guns on the starboard side of the Mars. No, they're going for the balloon. They're dropping it. They want to drop it down to the floor as fast as they can. Panda Express is coming in quickly, though. Sky Slicer still needs to rise up to be useful at all.
I wonder if Mars is going to be ready to heavy carronade the Sky Slicer, because it looks like he's going to pop up right on the close range brawl side of the Mars. And we do have some heavy carronade shots coming in, barely not destroying the Sky Slicer's balloon. That was very important. If they manage to knock out the Sky Slicer, this potentially would be a good engagement for Red Team. Although it looks like Sky Slicers maybe being a little indecisive. I think because their balloon is damaged, they rose up a little too quickly and they weren't able to drop back down to stay on the Panda Express. And their Sky Slicer's kind of stranded a little bit.
Yeah, it's in a really bad position right now. Mars has got it right where it wants it. If the armor drops, the flak is going to come in. The flak is at a pretty good range right now to land consistently. There it is. Like, you can see it's landing. But if the armor drops, they're going to be in trouble. Armor drops, but the flak is still reloading. Sky Slicer, it's not going to fall, but it is forced out of this engagement. The battering ram, however, is moving in. I think this is a mistake from the Catskyders, but they're still going in. They want the Panda Express. Now they're realizing it's not a good idea.
I'm not sure, because there's really the Mars is so high. There's no way the Mars would be able to return fire on the battering ram.
Except, the Sky Slicer goes down. That was a flak shot. And now the battering ram is he's floundered for too long, and now he's in trouble.
He backed out. He was indecisive. If he had chosen to go for a full engagement with Panda Express, I think it probably would have been favorable for the Blue Goldfish, but he chose to back out, and now it's too late.
Wow, the ram goes out, breaks the armor, but the balloon's still up. They're going to chip away with the Banshee. The ram does a lot of damage, and they get it! Oof. But now the battering ram is in a lot of trouble. Mars raining fire in. If they can just keep the balloon popped and keep them bouncing, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. They bounce. Flak still reloading. Lumberjack's going to keep them in place, though. Armor needs to come up. Flak is just waiting.
But here comes the Sky Slicer.
Sky Slicer indeed coming in, but the flak's there. They pick up the kill. 2 kills for 1. But the Sky Slicer, like you said, is going to be in a good position. Going to try to disable the guns of the Mars. But they're not down yet. Artemis has not taken both down.
Focus the engines so they can't turn around, because they have caught the Mars on their close range side. So they should be trying to focus those engines.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're bringing the light engines up. Now I think the Mars just wants to get out of here. Its armor's dropping. It just wants to scoot. Hades is such a great counter to the Galleon.
Yeah, it just says such great arcs.
Now,
like,
where's
Mars
the Panda
is not able to
Express?
return any
Here we go. Panda Express coming in hard on the Sky Slicer. It has buffed main engine. It's burning kerosene, and it needs to stop the Sky Slicer's reign of terror. And it indeed should be able to, but the battering ram is now coming in. The Mars has dropped down a fair ways from the flight ceiling, and the Panda Express recognizes it can't leave the Galleon.
Looks like we actually have disconnects on both the Sky Slicer and the Panda Express. Although I believe players asking for pause, but we cannot pause once an engagement has already begun. So they will fight this out.
Yep, Panda Express gonna move in on the battering ram, but it's eating a lot of armor damage. Armor drops. Artemis gonna go just a little bit wide. It looks like the Panda Express and battering ram are both gonna kind of back out of this engagement.
Yeah, if you look at the map, Sky Slicer is really far away.
Yeah, okay, so it looks like they just want to pause. They're gonna back up, and they're just gonna let the pause happen, I think. The Sky Slicer is still hitting the Mars. Looks like they still want the engagement. That was tactical. That wasn't just a gentleman's agreement.
I don't know. It looks like maybe a little miscommunication between the referee and the pilots. The referee actually saying back off then, although blue team's continuing to put on fire in, so I guess there will be no pause.
He wasn't ordering them. He was saying, if you guys both want to pause and you want to agree on it, you're welcome to back up. But until you back up and lose spots, I can't pause. That's what he's saying. Saying, if you want to make a gentleman's agreement, you're welcome to.
Yeah, Sky Slicer losing their balloon, actually getting knocked down, which, not a big deal. He's behind terrain.
They got their member back. Sky Slicer is at full crew again. But at this point, the Mars has great arcs, pinning the Sky Slicer back behind that piece of cover, and also landing shots of the battering ram. It's taken a moment to turn and try to zone out the Sky Slicer. In fact, I think that they're going around the cover to land shots, but this is going to allow the Sky Slicer to come around counterclockwise and hit the Panda Express. No, now the Mars recognizes, you know what? We can't wait to hit the Sky Slicer, and it starts firing down on the battering ram. If they can get the kill, they may be able to save their ally. No, they won't. Sky Slicer has too good of arcs. 3-2 in favor of the Catskyders. And now the Mars has got to get out of this bad position.
Yeah, it's going to be Sky Slicer's going to be trying to take out their engines again. I mean, Panda Express just not being aware, I guess, of what was going on. Sky Slicer was, the Mars was shooting at the Sky Slicer, and they retreated behind that cover. So, of course, it should have been clear that the Sky Slicer was still there waiting for somebody to charge forward. And then he perished because of it. And now, like, the Mars, running in a galleon's tough to do. It's not the fastest ship. It doesn't have very good acceleration. So they're sort of stuck out here in tank mode, hoping the Panda Express will be able to come in and save them.
Yeah, they were able to pin down the Sky Slicer, but the battering ram is coming right off the bow of the Mars, popping the balloon, starting to send him to the ground. They're on full repairs. The captain isn't even on the wheel right now. They're
Panda
just
Express.
tanking and buying time. Look at that ram, though. Armor drops. Huge amount of damage coming out, and the Panda Express picks up the kill, narrowly saving the Mars. Battering ram is going to try to ram the Panda Express's guns out of arc, but it just backs up, and it gives the Panda Express arcs. Easy shots, and now the Mars trying to land Lumberjack, trying to land something, but I don't think that the Preatorians have anything at all to stop him.
The amount of damage that ram did was kind of absurd. That was like 85% or something from a single hit. They must have been. I guess that's what happens when you charge across the entire map at max speed and actually manage to land the ram. All that momentum gets transferred.
Yeah, and the armor dropped too. You saw that. The armor dropped before the ram went out.
So we've
was
actually
so much
managed to
damage.
sort of get back to a neutral game with both teams tied in score and with a little bit of terrain to work with.
Yeah, that being said, the battering ram is damaged, not as much as the Mars, but the Goldfish is very reliant on its hull. The Mars is as well because of the Sky Slicer, but
The battering ram needs the whole armor to make those battering rams.
exactly. It needs the whole armor to make any sort of play, if you ask me. That's the real survivability of a Goldfish, is its hull, not even its armor.
I think that's pretty true of
its movement.
most close range ships.
Yeah, you need that hull to actually make an engagement. The Mars, however, can stay back and land shots. However, the Sky Slicer comes around the corner, and its first couple Artemis disable the Lumberjack, disable the Typhon. The Mars is in a lot of trouble right now. Those Artemises were excellent.
Actually, we have an interesting comment in the chat from Luosi. I'm wondering if so this is something regarding the gunner skill between these two teams. It seemed like a lot of the Lumberjack shots and Hades shots from the Mars, especially earlier in the fight, were missing at long range. So if the Sky Slicer thinks their gunners are maybe superior to that of the opposing team, they could try to maintain a farther distance and then just kind of win the game on the virtue of their gunner skill, even though the Galleon would potentially have more powerful guns. Like, more powerful guns doesn't matter if they can't land the shots.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do right now. They're saying, you know what, we'll disable the Galleon. We're pecking at them. Right now, we've disabled them once, but the battering ram wasn't in position. When the battering ram gets in position, though, if the Sky Slicer manages to get some disables, they're going to be in trouble, but the Mars is not going to take that sitting down. They're going to back up and get their guns into arc on the Sky Slicer and continually apply pressure to the Catskyders ships.
Battering ram poking out a little bit. He's just like, hey, is there still Lumberjack out here? Oh, okay, never mind. Bye.
Battering ram eating a fair bit of Hades. This could be bad if the armor drops. Flak does a lot of damage.
And they're actually baiting the Panda Express out. Although Sky Slicer is really low, he's going to have to run that Hydra real fast here.
Remember when I said that the hull for a Goldie is really important? Yeah, there goes the hull. The Catskyders were banking on using that on what was left. I think they were banking on what was left of the Goldie's hull to make a play, but now it's gone. And the battering ram is scared. Look at the way the Mars is just playing with these ships. As soon as it gets arcs, it is loading into one of these ships. And now, because it was significantly higher, the Hades were landing easier, the Lumberjacks were landing easier. Now it's up to the Sky Slicer to buy time for the battering ram to get into position. But the Panda Express is coming around. The Praetorians are trying to apply the last bit of pressure and close this game out, I think.
No, Panda Express is backing off. I think you saw him almost charge in about 30 seconds ago, but then he was remembering what happened in that first engagement with the Sky Slicer waiting for him, and he knows he doesn't want to run into that same ambush again. So they're actually playing pretty conservatively here, just relying on the firepower of the Mars to sort of mess with the Catskyders.
5 minutes remaining, and I will note, by the rules, hull does not matter. So if it's 3 for 3, then doesn't matter. If it's 3 for 3, then it goes by who got the first kill. And I believe that was Riders. I don't remember.
Yes,
it was pretty close.
You know, the idea that my memory would extend past what has happened in the last, 5 minutes, I think that's a little much to ask of me.
This is a pretty intense game. It's understandable. I'm also...
Panda Express is engaging. They've committed.
Yeah, they have battering ram in a lot of trouble now. Mars has easy arcs, though. The balloon is popped. Panda Express is getting out of there, trying to get out of arc of the Sky Slicer. As the battering ram goes down, now it's up to the Mars to provide covering fire for the Panda Express to get out of here. Hades and Lumberjack coming in. And the Sky Slicer can't engage. Just a couple of minutes left. And the Praetorians are in a position to take it.
Yeah, a lot of those shots from the Mars missing, but it's
just zoning now.
Exactly. It's performing an important duty in forcing the Sky Slicer out and keeping the Panda Express safe. It looked like almost the Panda Express kind of... So I was talking about how it ran into that first engagement where it ran behind the pillar and the Sky Slicer killed it at the beginning of this game. So he wasn't going to do that again, but it seemed like almost he turned that on his head. He expected the blue team to go after him when he ran behind cover to where the blue team was. So they turned to focus him, and that gave the Mars actually free reign. The Panda Express just kept running. So it was a nice kind of metagame distraction tactic, messing with the Catskyders' heads. I think that was really cool.
3 minutes left on the timer. I agree entirely. Now all of this strategy has got to go out the window for the Riders. They've got to make a play, but just one death will do them in. They can't afford to make a play that leaves one of their ships open, because even if they get a kill, if they lose one, they lose the game. Panda Express backing up. Mars just going to try to once again pin the Riders back behind this pillar. And the Sky Slicer is so far away right now. I mean, certainly the Artemises are going to be able to do something, but the Hades is such an important component of this Pyramidion.
There's kind of a weird aspect of the terrain on this map in that they're all very thin
2 minutes.
spires. So even if you're hiding behind it, you see actually the Praetorians are rotating around. So even when you're behind cover, you're not safe because they can just pop out and hit you from a different angle. It's not like a wide canyon or something that you're totally safe behind.
Panda Express moving a little bit forward, but the Mars is plenty close to provide covering fire. Battering ram, eating Lumberjack, balloon down already. Armor drops quickly. Flak comes in. Was that the Flak? I think that was the Lumberjack. That would have been way more damage if it was a Flak. And is forced to back up.
Yeah, Sky Slicer actually did manage to take down the Mars Lumberjack, although it is rebuilt. They're putting in a little Artemis fire, but they're not managing to disable that many components. I
really.
see. Exterminator's actually using... never mind.
Okay.
I was going to say Exterminator was using Lesmok, but he's actually on the Hades.
All right, Panda Express now blocking the battering ram from rising up on the Mars. Gatling going out. Carronade as well. Gonna stop them from rising up. No, they actually haven't even touched the balloon at the battering ram. They're going into the armor. Battering ram now trying to rise up slowly, but the Mars has easy Lumberjack shots. They're switching over to the Sky Slicer now, trying to provide covering fire for the Panda Express. Armor drops on the battering ram, but it comes back up almost immediately. Drops again. And the Riders are taking way too much fire to move in. There's less than 1 minute remaining. 30 seconds left. The Riders can't afford to back up here. The Sky Slicer is dropping. Lumberjack is landing. Hades missing, but it may not matter. The Riders need forward momentum. 20 seconds left on the clock, and I think this is it, Urs.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to get a full team wipe because they got the first kill
10.
in the game. They only need to get 1 kill. They need to go for the Panda Express, I suppose.
That's it. That's it. Time. And the Preatorians take it 4-3.